Last year, I had to take a break from social media because all of the videos of abuse and people being killed by the police and all of that stuff, it was just wearing on me, and it was starting to change me, for the worse. I found myself coming to work with the attitude like I wish somebody would try me. Um, I'm the only black person on my shift, and my coworkers are pretty cool, but I found myself looking at them differently. Um, and it's interesting because maybe a month ago, I had there were four different times where someone came to me, a white person came to me and pulled me aside and said, "Hey, this is going on the media," or "I said this, and my black friend got offended. I don't understand it. What's going on?" And I don't know why they felt so comfortable coming to me with all that, but and I tried to explain it to them the best that I could. And why am I saying this? Why am I okay? My whole point is there was a guy that I knew last year. Last year, he had a great job, making probably like $30 an hour, and he allowed the stuff that's happening uh, get to him in a negative way. I mean, it should affect you, but he internalized it, and basically one day we were having a practice for the company's basketball team, and we were having a practice, and one of the players he got into it with one of his coworkers, one of his teammates, um, and he was a white person, and they got into it over normal basketball stuff. You ain't passing the ball. What are you doing? Normal stuff like that. But because of what's going on, and because of what's going on in the country and all of that, he took it out on him. He took it as this white guy is trying to test me, and he flipped out. Ended up getting himself fired. I mean, they both flipped out. They both flipped out. He ended up getting himself fired. The other guy got suspended because of, there's a whole nother story to that. But anyway, my concern is that in the midst of what we see, I see people flooding their timeline, digging up old videos and pictures and things from that we've already been through, we've already bled through and cried through, and I see people just bringing up all of this stuff, and I'm concerned that people are not protecting themselves spiritually. They're not guarding their heart. And I'm not saying that you should be unfazed. I'm not saying that you should forget about what happened in the past. I'm not saying that at all. But if you've ever seen a movie where they're brainwashing someone and they just like strap them to a chair and sit them in front of a TV and show them violence and stuff like that, that's what it reminds me of when I see someone's timeline and all they're doing is sharing all of this stuff. Now, I understand they're doing it because they're hurt, because they're angry, but, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel that way. I'm not saying that at all because I'm struggling, but you have to guard your heart. Mourn over the people that just were murdered. Mourn over it, um, but don't revisit all of the other stuff. Don't forget the other stuff, but don't bring it all back to the surface. And now you're not only you're overwhelming yourself, or you're overwhelming all the people on your timeline. Not to mention the family members of those victims of those things past. Now that these videos are going viral again, they actually have to relive that same experience. So it's not just about you; it's about all of us. Um, but on an individual level, you have to guard your heart. It's about time for me to take a break from Facebook again, from various reasons. And I'm not trying to run from the reality of what's happening, but when I feel myself starting to change for the worse, then I know I need to take a break. And I encourage everyone else to do the same, at the very least, to take a break from all of the negative, being flooded from all of the nonsense, uh, the negativity, the violence, the hate, that sort of stuff, because it will affect you. The other thing I want to talk about is you got to remember that we're looking at systematic oppression. Systematic racism is different from the random redneck in his yard who has the Confederate flag and he calls people niggers. Like those are two totally different things. Don't get sidetracked by stupid tweets and ignorant memes posted by racist people that first of all, you don't even need to see all that stuff. We already know what they think. All right. You don't continue to expose yourself to that kind of stuff. It's just gonna make yourself angry. Any anger, any indignation, anything that you feel right now needs to be directed towards changing the system. Because arguing with people on the internet, arguing with your coworkers, or I don't know, whatever else people do, but screenshotting and sharing racist quotes, and then posting old videos. Like, who are you trying to prove? Who are you trying to prove this stuff to? We already know this happens. The people that you really would hope would open their eyes, they're not going to open their eyes, and you know that. So when you rehash all of the old stuff and you rip open the old wounds, like, what purpose is it serving? Most of the people that are going to see it are going to be the same people that bled and cried with you through it in the first place. They already know what happened. They already see it. And the people, like, we don't need to convince them, quote unquote. We don't need to convince them of anything. That is a waste of time and effort, and it will only make you get more angry. Your anger needs to be directed in the right direction. What now? What can I do? What are we going to do to change things? That's where the focus needs to be. Not some random, internet thug racist that likes to post memes and things like that. You don't need that in your life right now. What you need in your life is people that's going to help you mourn, people that's going to give you strength, and people that are going to come up with solutions on how to change things. Try to get past the negativity without being unaffected. I'm not saying don't be bothered by it, but I'm saying redirect, turn that energy into something positive. I'm concerned. I don't want to see people so caught up in the hate and everything that they encounter a police officer and they go from 0 to 100, and then they end up in a video because they're so upset about what's been happening. I don't want to see people losing their jobs because they're internalizing everything that's happening, and then they get into a minor, riff with a Caucasian coworker, and then they take it to the extreme because of they're carrying around all of this stuff. Because it almost happened to me more than once, so I just want to share that with people. So I don't know. Guard your heart. Redirect those emotions. Don't hide them. Don't deny them. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel them, but redirect them to the appropriate outlet, which would be advocating for social change.